Hello YouTubers. Today's video is about building a fire or a campfire. When I was in Scouts in the early 70s, we used a term called building a fire. Fires weren't started unless you were in arson. They were built. And the procedures we would use, we would start by what is called striking a flame, and that's either done with a match, a lighter, or flint and steel. And once you got that flame, you would start to build your fire. And that happen in stages. Today's about what we would call a fire cabin or fire shack. There's another structure out there called a log cabin fire, which you hear about, and that's a different structure. You can use what I'm going to show you to start that structure on fire. It's just a way, that is a way to make a campfire. First off, I'm using regular lumber because it's easier to see. It's easier to explain what the structure looks like. The lines on these pieces of wood represent a rounded log. You'll split it in half and then quarter it. When I set mine up, I like a flat bottom and the internal walls to be flat. It's just my preference. I think it aids a little bit more in the fire. And then, once you get that set up, you'll put in cross structures. I'm using fat wood. I've got a lot of it, and you'll need a little bit of room on the back side and the front side. And fat wood burns real good, and if you don't use fat wood, you've got to use a lot of small twigs and usually have more levels to this, which the fat wood just starts it burning faster and makes it easier to ignite. Then you have these big pieces, and then I'm going to put, right here, these, and then these represent branches or twigs about yay big. Now, if I didn't have the fat wood, these would be smaller. These would be more this size. And then I'd have another layer with the bigger ones. So I'm just going to throw these on top. And that's my beginning structure. I would set this on fire. When it gets going good, then you can add wood to it. Now, I'm going to use a fire starter. So what I like to do is I make one of these, just split wood, and you can set your fire starter on it, light it, and slide it in, and then it will burn too. So let's go outside and light this up, because I'm not going to light it in the shop, or this will be the last video I do if I attempt to do that. Okay, I went ahead and set it up outside. There's going to be a lot of traffic noise because I live right next to a highway, but this is mainly to just see how this burns. And I've got the fire starter in there, and I use petroleum jelly pad. I'm not going to mix it with fat wood because I got fat wood on the structure. And I'm going to cheat by using a lighter because I do other videos on using a fire stick, and I just want to see how this burns. Alright, there it goes. That should ignite that firewood pretty quick, and this should go pretty fast being dry wood and having the fat wood cross members. But let's just see how this burns, and it'll give you an idea of what it will roughly look like when you're using actual timber from outdoors. The fat wood is already ignited. And as you can see, it's already burning pretty good. Let's just watch this burn for a while. Now if I was building this for an actual campfire, I would have bigger logs beside the smaller logs, and I would already be putting bigger pieces of wood across those to start them on fire, because this thing is really burning. It's really hot, and it's already at the stage where you can start building a bigger campfire and getting it to the size you want it and maintain it. But using that fat wood, it's cheap, it's inexpensive. I get mine at Lowe's. Really helps. You can cut using the smaller twigs to get it started, because normally I start with smaller pieces of wood to build it to this size, and with the fat wood, and if you can find good dead wood, these just light up so fast and so hot that using these as a base for your fire saves you so much time and will increase the odds that you have a successful fire. I am amazed at some of my friends that with matches, with can of gas, they just have so much trouble starting a fire, or building a fire rather. And it's because that's exactly what they're doing. They're trying to start a fire. They're not building the fire. They don't have any structure. It's just a bunch of wood in a pile. You use one of these and you should be able to get a fire pretty quick. It also helps when you're using damp wood to build one of these structures, because you can make it so that as the little twigs burn, it dries out the bigger ones, and you'll still get a good fire. Just take you a little bit longer, but you'll get it, especially if you're using fat wood. But as you can see, in a matter of minutes, it's blazing, and the initial wood is almost already out. So like I said, early on in this fire, I would have started putting more fuel on it. I mean, that's how fast you can get a fire going to the right size, to the size you want it. It doesn't take much time at all. I'll just film this burning for a little bit, and then I'm going to close the top and put it out. But that is why I use a fire cabin, because they just really are so good to build a fire with. And this one's already burning down because the wood's getting exhausted, and we've only been filming this, so I've only been filming this for a few minutes. That's how effective these are. And I highly recommend that you learn how to build these. Practice building them. I would even say start like I have here with a square store-bought untreated wood to get used to building it, then move on to actually what you would use outdoors, because you'll have a good understanding of the structure, airflow, and how it should go together. And then you build one of these and ignite it, and you're going to have a fire pretty quick. Well, thank you for watching. I'm going to go ahead and keep filming this and let it burn for a little bit. But that is a fire cabin, and that's what they can do for you when you're building a fire. Thank you for watching.